We are going to throw more lens. You are going to throw more light. You are going to open lenses on these creatures that we said they are in human bodies here on earth. Three different creatures were mentioned in Psalm 82 when we are reading Psalm 82, especially when we look at the verse 6 and 7. Psalm 82. We want to go back to that place again to refresh our minds. We talked a lot about that in our previous teachings, but we want to throw light on this place again. We are going to identify three creatures in human bodies. The three creatures in human bodies, because these are the creatures we are dealing with here on earth. When we say on earth, we are talking about this, our world. And the creatures we see, when you open your eyes, if you don't see maybe animals, birds, butterflies, and plants, what you see are human beings. And right now, as we are talking about, we are getting to about 9 billion of us here on earth. But then we are going to find out that there are three different human beings. Three different human beings. As long as the new creature is concerned, then there are three different human beings. So we are going to look at them here from Psalm 82, the verse 6, and then the verse 7. It said, I have said, you are gods, Elohim, with small letter E, Elohim. When the word E is a capital, a huge, big E in Hebrew, that Elohim means God. And there's only one personality that describes that Elohim, God. But this Elohim, small E, Elohim, gods here, they are plural. When you see the gods, they are plural, which means there are many of them. And it said, I've said you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But you shall die, or you are dying like men, and fall like one of the princesses. So here we find children of the Most High here, who were described as gods, because why? Their father is God. Of course, if your father or mother is a man, you are also a man. So now these are children of the Most High. Then they talk about you, but you are dying like men, and you are falling like one of the princess. Therefore, you fall like one of the princes. So the princess, they fall. Whatever height they are, they fall to the ground. But the men here die. And he said, you are children of the Most High, you are gods. But you are dying like the men and falling like one of the princes. And we say we're going to look at this three. It says the children, men, and then princes. Now, the Greek word for the children here is the word ben. And the ben referred to sons. That's your son, your offspring. Then the men here is the Hebrew word. Sorry, it's a Hebrew word, not Greek. We are talking about Hebrew. In Old Covenant, the Old Testament, all the words they were translated from Hebrew. So the Hebrew word for that man, we have seen the Hebrew word for that children. We said it's called Ben. Now the Hebrew word for that man, is Adam. So now we have seen that he's talking about Adam. So when you look at Genesis chapter 6, when I talk about the sons of God saw the daughters of men, which means the sons of God there were not the men, but the sons of God were not the sons of God who we now have. So it was the princes that were described as that. Therefore, if you look at, for example, you look at this word in Luke chapter 10, verse 18. When first of all, the 70 said to Jesus that the devils are subject to us in your name. He saw, yes, I saw Satan falling like lightning. I give you power, trample upon them. So these devils, and Satan is their chief devil. In fact, if you look at Revelation 12:7, he's the devil. The Satan is the chief devil. And Satan is also described as princess. Satan, princess. If you look at Ephesians 2:2, it's described as the power of the air, the power of the prince of the power of the air, which is working in children of disobedience. And if you go to 2 Corinthians 4, verse 3 and 4, he's called the God of this world, and he's the Satan. But he's called prince. And Jesus is also described as prince. In Revelation chapter 1, verse 5, the prince of the kings of the earth. And he's talking about Jesus. So Jesus, there the word of God there in Revelation 1:5 describing him as prince. But when we talk about prince, you're talking about the son of a king or a king's heir. The son of the king who is the heir. That's why I use the word prince there. But when we go back to that Psalm 82, verse 6 and 7 that we're talking about, the prince there and then the band are different or things, creatures altogether. There, Jesus is not a creature. He's a creator. He created all things. He created us, sons of God, so we are creature, and he's become the firstborn among the creatures. Colossians chapter 1, verse 15 and 16, saying that he became the firstborn, is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn among every creature. For by him were these things created. So you see the definition there. So he being a creator who should create everything, created us, and he had become the firstborn among, because he created us just like himself. These are the sons of God. That is why you see him being described as a prince, firstborn, the son of God. It's the description fit us. But in that Psalm 82, verse 6 and 7, you see the three creatures there, the band who are the sons of God, the true sons of God, the princes who were described as sons of God in Genesis chapter 6. And then we have the man who is called the Adam, who was created later. In other words, the princes were there when the Adam was created. And when the Adam was created, he was given authority to subdue the princes, but he failed because the princes tend to deceive him, or the prince, because one of them, the chief of them, tend to deceive the Adam. So Adam and his offspring fail entirely. But it was made so, not that God failed or because Adam failed. That was the plan for what God planned from beginning. All these things might happen. And right now, if we are living now, things are getting worse. Evil are rising. Wickedness are increasing. Why? Because things must get worse before it can become better. In the book of Revelation, when you are living, even in some times, the Antichrist or the beast was given power to conquer even the saints. So you see in those days that there were persecutions, the apostles were killed here and there, and the whole church was submerged and they turned into religion. That time has come. So sometimes people will say that why has God created evil devils, and why look as if he's powerless? No, that's the plan of God. Things must get worse and from that it will become good. That the time we are in, the knowledge we are receiving, the wisdom we are receiving, the understanding we need to have is now is the time now. You see, there's a time that God has appointed for everything. This time is the time of the sons of God, and they can control. And it's very interesting. These sons of God, or the band we read in Hebrews, in that Hebrew word there in Psalm 82:6. And then we see the princesses in the verse 7 of that Psalm 82. That band there, now is their time. Now the princess, their time is past. They are the one we are to cast away. And then I'm saying that there are some of the Adam who are on the side of this princess, or the princess are using them as governors. They put them in places to deal with the Adam, not with the band, because that sons of God, you can't deal with them. There's no power. The only thing is that the knowledge, or not the knowledge or the wisdom, the understanding to many of us are not forthcoming. That's the whole problem that we have. We are not Ben, we are not Adam. We are not. And of course, we can't be the princes. We are the Ben, the sons of God. When I talk about princess, look at it very carefully, because if you just look at it in that English word, you would think that when you say prince or princess is evil, or is evil, unless you look at the Hebrew word Sar. Because the Ben, that sons of the Most High, can only be described also as prince or princess, because they are sons of God and they are heirs of God. So English word can deceive when you want to interpret the Bible just by English. That is why there are a lot of misinterpretations of the versions of the Bible. Because when you are bringing them into English from Hebrew and from Greek, the whole lot of words that English don't have, English cannot differentiate. So that's why there's so many distortions here and there that we think the Bible is not correct, because why this one saying this saying this. The problem is the translation from the Hebrew and from the Greek. There's one Greek word that you can even put forward, and if you want to translate it, you can't find any English word for it. You can only run it with a lot of words to explain it, but you can't translate it. So when you look at children of the Most High, then Hebrew said they are Ben. That's Ben. This is the princess. So princess said, no, they are Sar, S-A-R. Then you look at men. What are men? See the Adam. Now, Apostle Paul also says something in 1 Corinthians 16, verse 13. Stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men. Stop being like men. And so, well, okay, what's the faith? So the faith, he said, by the faith, you all become the sons of God. Galatians 3:26. So stop being like Adam. Because you are a new creature. Stop being like Adam. Here too is still teaching us something that we can live like Adam. Because you are not. We are also not what the Bible is called the Sar. Because if you look at Ephesians 6 from verse 10 to 12, talk about strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Put on the whole armor that you'll be able to defeat all the vials of the devil and be able to stand. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That is man, Adam. You are not wrestling against Adam. That I've said some of the Adam have become the kings, officers, workers, and servants of these prince or devil. But we are not fighting against them per se. But he said against what he described as principalities, powers, rulers of darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. These are the princes, the Sar. But in the world, we see human beings. We are also seeing human beings. They are seeing human beings. We are seeing Adam. But the rare Adam man who has not sold his soul to the devils, is a very meek person, a very merciful person. He or she is pure in heart. In fact, when you meet some of them, whether in marriage or in life, whatever, you testify. Those who have not been taken over by these princes, whether witchcraft spirits, wizard spirits, or occult spirit, or what familiar spirit, not taking over them, they are very good. These are the men, the Adam. They are living souls. And most of them are mourning, poor in spirits. They mourn, they weep always. Why? Because they have no power to control. And look at that. That here we have three different creatures. And the powers is in the hand of two, the Ben and the Sar. They are fighting. They are the one wrestling against. We don't have anything to do with Adams. We have to do with the Sar. And the Adams have no power. And so some of them are choosing to be with the side of the Sar, or choosing to be with the side of the Ben. Some who come to our churches, they are coming for deliverance. They are coming for prayers. They need help from us. They cannot feed themselves. They have been deprived. The powers have taken over, and they come to us. Some of them even don't know where to go. And when they come to the church, and unfortunately for them, the church is governed by the Sar, this wicked so-called princes, then their life is even tormented. So Jesus said in Matthew 23, from verse 13 to 15, to the scribes and Pharisees, woe unto you. You devour women, widows' house by pretense, make long prayers. You go everywhere to make some of your proselytes. And when they are made, you make them twice the children of hell than yourself. That is what these Adams are facing here on earth. If they fall into the hand of these princes, or in the churches we have, 90% are from them. And look at their life. Look at how they have been tormented, being robbed. And you know this, the topic they use for them. They teach them, bring this money, pay this tithe, sow this seed, or God will deal with you. Bring this thing, obey this commandment, or you punish, you condemn you. And the other man has no power, no solution. They can't solve the problems, because the problems are spiritual, manifested in the physical realm. And those who have power over it are the Ben and the Sar. And the two of them must each other fight them. And the Ben are more powerful, but the Ben lack understanding. The knowledge is not there. The wisdom. That's what we are going through. That's what we are seeing. But the essence here is the understanding. It's not how we are supposed to do something extra, or to know something extra, or think the knowledge you are receiving is not enough. Well, it's not enough because you are not getting the full knowledge. And because of that, some of you are going even outside the Bible. And there was a book that was supposed to be written, the book of Enoch, the book of Balaam, also what that. The book of Balak, supposed to be written, but it was not fixed. And they are going there to find that knowledge. To get the knowledge of Ben. To be the Son, and now you're the Son of God, and you are looking at it from something that was written long before Christ came. But when Christ came, as many as received him, he gave them the power to become the sons of God. John 1:12, which means the sons of God, the Ben, who the Hebrew described, called them, were not there in the days of that Enoch or Balak or whatever you are talking about. So if you are going to learn something from Moses or from any of the prophets or from Enoch or from what Balak or whoever, don't you know that you are being deceived? Because the Son of God, actually, the Ben, the true Ben, came out when Jesus came. And from there, that knowledge was given to him. That Jesus said, most prophet and righteous men did not even have this knowledge you are having. Because God never revealed himself to any of them or talked to anybody. And Christ is the one who is going to even show us the Father whose son we are going to be. Show the knowledge about him. And so the spirit of your Father is in you. Why are you going back to Enoch, to Balak? Don't you know you are being deceived and becoming awkward? Why are you going back to Moses, to the prophets? Don't you know you are being deceived to become a religious person? And this is what is happening, going on. And they come and preaching, mention some name, Jesus, which is not the Jesus we know, a gospel mixed up with everything, and a spirit that not known. These are false prophets, false apostles, evil workers of Satan. And what they are doing, as Apostle Paul was saying, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 1 to 4, and verse 13 to 15. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 1 to 4 verses. I want to bring you chastise Christ. But I'm afraid, but as the devil deceived Adam, so your mind can also be deceived by this same creature. For some will come to you and preach another Jesus, another gospel, another spirit, and you will receive them. But these are false apostles, workers of iniquity. For Satan himself has become an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11, 1 to 4, 13 to 15. And that's what we see. Because the only thing which the Sar could do to Adam was to deceive him. That's all. And took over. Then they took over. So be very careful of the Sar, because the Adam is very harmless, but the Sar can deceive the Ben. That is what you have to take care of. That will be wiser than them, because the Sar is very clever. They're clever among the beasts. So they are not even angels. They are called the beasts. Satan was a beast. Genesis 3:1. If you look at the beasts in Revelation 13:1 down to 4, which the dragon, the Satan, is even working with, you find that the two of them were teamed together. They are called beasts. And these are found among the Sar. The Sar look like a human being in the physical, in the optical eye, but spiritually, they are creatures, all kind of animal forms. Fishy, some are like serpents, some are like leopards, so a whole lot of them. And David was able to see them, Psalm 22, under the cross. They, the Sar, are the one who killed Jesus. They behave like religious people, chief priests, prophets, apostle. That's how they behave. Why? Because they want to deceive the man. Because the only problem is the band. Because the band is the only one who can control the Sar. The Adams have already lost the battle. So and for them, anything goes. But when you are not equipped with the knowledge of the band, the Sar can deceive you. And they come as great men of God, apostles, anointed, performing miracles. Because don't think that they are Adam. They are not. They have anointing. They can perform miracles. They can speak prophecies. They can cast out what they call devils. But it's a trick. Just as somebody perform magic to you. Get away in the name of Jesus. Get away. And people are falling. So you think they are of God. Don't fall into their trap and be deceived. Be very wise. And you'll find out that you are in control. Let's stay tuned and stay blessed.